Hello and welcome. This is Mouse Gunner, and I'm back with some more Motorsport Manager. And I'll be continuing my series with the Predator Racing Group, where I'm taking the worst team in the lowest series and trying to go all the way up to winning the highest series in the game. And we're close to the end of the second season, and as far as the standings go, we're in dead last. And from where we are development-wise, we're still a ways away, I think, from competitive performance, especially with our cars. And I think even the third season will be more of a development season for us. Hopefully we'll be able to improve the cars enough to start being quasi-competitive, maybe get out of being dead last. But this season, we're definitely going to finish there because we have such a points gap here, and there's only 2 races to go. And the next race we have is Milan, which is going to be a tough track for us because it's very top speed oriented with all these straights, and we're just not going to have the car performance to do that. The good thing is, through my experience with my other series that I've been doing on my YouTube channel with the Archer BMR team, I have a better idea of what I need as far as car performance to be competitive and have a chance of winning this series that we're currently in and being promoted to the next highest. So hopefully we can use that knowledge and improve our cars up there in the next season. In any case, let's go ahead and continue here and get on to Milan. Now, as far as things go, we have a headquarters that's about to finish. As a matter of fact, it will finish in the next day here. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to use all of its benefits for us because it would upgrade our ability to develop gearboxes. But next season, we'll have spec gearboxes, so that technically will be unnecessary. But we do have other benefits from the building, so it's not a complete and total waste, but I would have preferred to build a building that would help us develop parts that are not going to be spec parts, obviously. And then as far as the improving of our parts, we more or less have improved all the parts to their maximum that we currently have developed. And right now we're just mostly improving reliability, and we're improving the performance of some of the stock parts just to do it. But in any case, let's go ahead and continue until we get to the race. Now, I have also, I think, learned some lessons from that Archer BMR series on ways that we could maybe improve our cars even more than I did this season, as well as better strategy maybe of how to handle myself in the races. Now, I don't know if I'm going to use that strategy for these next couple of races because it doesn't really necessarily matter, but so we have that one building finished, and overall our headquarters is 5th comparatively, which is actually quite good. If we can continue to improve that, I think that will help us down the road. But for now, I'm just going to save my money so we can use that to develop the car. I don't know actually how much money I'm going to sink into the car, though. So maybe we should think about getting more buildings here. So we've got R&D facilities, brake R&D. Mostly these are going to be helping. These 2 will be helping us get better engines and better brakes. Or we could upgrade. And if we were to upgrade, it'd be the design center I'd probably focus on, because this would allow me to unlock even more buildings that we currently don't have access to, as well as giving us more or a reduced time to design parts, which probably at the moment is going to be more useful for us. Now, this will put us a little bit negative in balance, but I don't think that's that big of a deal. And hopefully, with 20 weeks build time, we'll have it built before the next season starts, so we'll get most of the benefit from that. I think that's probably a really good idea to do that. So let's go ahead. We'll go ahead and build our design center here, or upgrade it, so we have access to more buildings. And I do get a discount because of my financial attribute. We get 400,000 off of that. Now again, we're going to be in the red, but I don't think that's that big of a deal. Let's go ahead and continue here till we get to Milan. Or the 1st of the month, because it always pauses on the 1st of the month. But we'll go to Milan now. And let's go into the race here. So I'm going to go with 16th or above. There's always a chance that we'll get the sponsorship bonus, and might as well take some cash rather than none. Part fitting, let's take a look at this. It does look like Dior is unhappy for some reason. We'll see why as we go through this. It probably is because we're giving Santana all the best parts, except where we gave him the best brakes. Why is he still unhappy about things? So it's mostly overall parts he's not happy with. I don't know why all of a sudden he is really down on that. I really don't want to continue giving him the best parts. I guess it doesn't particularly matter. Just have him be happy with what the situation is. All right, so we gave him a couple better parts just to quiet him for the meantime. It's very interesting because I have him set up to be the number 2 driver. He should give Santa Ana the better parts, but for whatever reason, he's unhappy. Actually, no, it's because the parts aren't so good. That's probably more it. All right, well, in any case, let's get on to that race. And here we go. Now, I'm not going to do the practice. In my opinion, it's kind of a waste of time at this point. We don't really need to dial in the cars all that well. We're going to finish dead last anyway, so let's just get through this. Now, as far as I know, you can't simulate a race, so if we did want to skip through here, as far as I know, it's not possible. We're having these 2 drivers. Now, Evan's contract is going to expire here, and I don't think I'm going to replace him, more than likely, because there's no reason, I think, at this point to spend money if we're still not really competitive with our cars. So I'm not really concerned with what kind of tires we're going to be running for this race. I'm mostly just going to do my best to kind of get the performance of the cars kind of where they need to be, something like that. And then we need to soften the suspension and go more for top speed. And that will be fine. Go ahead and go on softs. And then over here, we need more downforce, which is interesting. I wouldn't have expected that. Maybe a little bit too much there. There we go. And then somewhat of the opposite of the way Dior's car is set up. And then we need to go longer gear ratios with this particular car. We'll go something like that and back that off a little bit. All right, that's probably fine. Medium tires, I don't really care. And away we go. I am going to just do instant result because we don't need to go through the practice. Now, sometimes the AI does these practices right. Sometimes they don't. As far as the practice goes, Santa Ana did not finish dead last. That's, I guess, okay news. All right, now we're on the race day. So far, we have sunny weather. Although it was projected to be raining, I don't know. Sometimes those projections are not accurate. We also don't have a better forecasting center, so or a forecasting center at all. So our knowledge of the future is not great. But so far, sunny. All right, let's get our slots. It does appear that we got something here. I'm going to go ahead and just take both of these for Santa Ana. And then we will take the risk taker plus the race trim. Now, as far as our mechanics go, I probably, well, I think I still have some time on their contracts. And again, I don't feel like it's a good idea to waste money on drivers and mechanics and things if your team's not going to be competitive overall. Just save that money, spend it on the development of the car. All right, so we didn't get the cars dialed in. Let's see what we can do with that. So I don't know which way to take this, to be honest with you. And I guess I'm just going to live with what how dialed in the AI got this, which is honestly not that dialed in. I'm not even sure if the AI dials it in at all, to be honest with you. It looks like they did make some modifications. I would imagine we need to go stiffer with the suspension, but because I don't know that, I could be making it worse. That's kind of the sucky thing about having the AI simulated. If they don't get it on, then, you know, you're kind of screwed. But I will get fueled up here. And that's one thing I really wish that they would improve in this game. They've already done some things to, I think, help us a little bit here. But what they need to do is they need to carry over the knowledge that you've gotten from the practice and maybe even give you an indicator with an arrow which way that your feedback told you to take something. Because in my opinion, oftentimes when you're doing the practice, you'll get feedback from the driver, and the driver will say, I need the suspension stiffer. And then you have the other guy on your other driver say, I need the suspension softer. And then you have to remember which one told you which, and then you've got 3 different things to remember with 2 different cars. In my opinion, oftentimes it can be confusing remembering all that information, especially as you have to wait several minutes oftentimes to make the changes. That's one thing I would really like to see change here. Because the driver, as far as I know in the practice, could have given feedback. Oh, you know what? Make this, the gear ratio is a little bit more towards acceleration. So maybe having, a driver arrow, little green arrow here showing in that direction would be helpful for me, especially if I'm one of those people that just wants to simulate the practice. In any case, did I set up the fuel? I don't know if I did. Yes, I did. Okay. Rambling a little bit too much there. We'll go ahead and go with push here to start. As far as tires go, I've been going conservative in the past. I think we're going to have Dior be the conservative driver, but I think this time I'm going to go for it a little bit more with Santa Ana. Have her have soft tires the entire time. And let's see what we can do here. All right. Again, drawing from the experience I've had in the past. So we're first and second here. I'm going to go ahead and even advance this to ×2 speed initially. So Dior is going to be in first here for a little while. And I'm just going to watch the temperatures and the tires. We'll go ahead and speed it fully up now. And watch our performance. Now, I expect to lose positions very quickly here just because of how top speed oriented this track is. And when you have a massive disadvantage with that, in acceleration and top speed, I expect to just get past very quickly here. Now, I also expect Santa Ana at some point to pass Dior, but so far that hasn't happened. There we go. There's Santa Ana up into 10th. So far, not so bad. Temperatures are getting up in the soft tires. Now, the one thing that's kind of tricky with the pitch strategy on this particular track is the fact that how fast of a speed it is. You can see cars just blow by you. There must have been body contact because there was some pitting going on there with the AI. I'm going to go with neutral stance with Santa Ana's car. Now, because I didn't run the practice, I don't know the tendency of this track. I don't see any rain projected here, although it is cooling off. So Dior is in. I'm going to go ahead and go back to a push strategy here just to get temperature up in those tires. When 17th and 18th, we're only one spot away from getting our sponsor, but I really think it's going to be hard to get there, in my opinion. Now, we could go in a higher gear and burn fuel, but I don't know if that's necessarily a great strategy on this track. Now, hopefully, I was about to say, hopefully we don't have any crashes, because I didn't want this car 19th and 20th catching up to us because they're just going to pass us. So yeah, we gain a position for now, but that's not going to really help us, in my opinion. I'm going to back things off here to low on the fuel burning. And I expect the safety car to be out a decent length of time. There was some pitting. You know what? I should have pitted. I didn't even think about that. Oh, it's a little late for that now. Hey, we're up into second. I'm going to go ahead and pit, though, with Santa Ana. I should have done that earlier. I wasn't really thinking. Guess I'm a little rusty. So we're not going to stay up in second. There's no way. We did have some pitting in the back, though, so we do have a bit of a gap. I'm not going to pit with Dior. I'll keep him out. But these guys are catching up now. Oh, another car crashed, too. Thought it was just one at first. So the entire pack is going to pass Santa Ana, but actually Santa Ana gets back into a position higher than she was in the past. So that's not too bad. Safety car is going to head into the garage. So we'll have that happen as we go around one more time here. So the car in 18th is catching up. So this is exactly what I was talking about. Doesn't really help us because we did have a huge gap there. Now these guys are right up on us. Whatever body contact they had that caused them to have that big gap, it's not a big deal anymore. They've caught up, and we will get past here. Yeah, I know. There's not a whole lot I can do about it at this slow pace. Alright, we're going to start moving here, so I'm just going to go ahead and go on to medium fuel burning here. And then I'm going to attack with these tires and push with these. Hopefully trying to get some temperature up in them. But now we're down to 18th. This is exactly what I thought would happen. And Dior is going to be down into 17th. And I'm going to go ahead and start pushing now. So Santana should pass Dior here. Dior is going to have to pit, I think, just because of fuel concerns. I'll put him back on medium tires, I guess. Fuel him up. And go with that fast pit. And I guess we'll just go right back onto an attack strategy here. Not that it particularly matters because we'll be getting rid of these tires soon. And Santana be getting into position. We do have some pitting, so she'll benefit from that. And her temperatures are looking okay, so I'm going to back off on the push. And you, my friend, are going to go to neutral. And Dior managed to get out into 17th. He won't keep it, but not too bad. There he goes, getting past. Now, there's quite a bit of a gap here, so that's good news for us. And I also expect that we'll be able to stay out longer than a lot of other cars on this field right now, because their tire life is going to be a little bit more worn down than ours. I'm going to have to keep an eye on this temperature to make sure it doesn't cool off too much, but I'm going to let it go for a little while. Alright, I think we're going to go ahead and push now. Just get temperature up in those tires. These guys are maybe catching up to me. We'll have to see. You can go ahead and start pushing too now. We've only got a few more laps to go. We are up into 14th. Ooh, here comes the rain. Okay, so we're going to probably have to pit here. As a matter of fact, maybe we should have pitted then. All right, so I'm going to pit here. We're going to get intermediates, I think. Yes, intermediates. Refuel. And if I had been watching, I would have seen that coming a little bit more, but unfortunately, no. Where are we actually on fuel? Do we, 8 laps would be enough. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. And you're back here. Do we want to pit now? Yeah, why not? We'll pit him. Get those intermediates, so we didn't stay on those tires too long. Again, if I had paid a little bit more attention, maybe I would be a better strategy here. 6-second pit. That's not too bad, though, because he just pitted not that long ago. So we've got some more pitting up ahead. Those guys are more than likely switching to intermediates as well. So we kind of lost out on an opportunity there. Now, Santana should be pitting at the same time as a lot of other people are going to be pitting. And we'll switch to her car now. Okay, so she's coming in. We'll switch back to a neutral strategy for both cars. And she's not going to have that quick of a pit, so I don't expect to make up any positions. As a matter of fact, these guys are going to maybe catch up to me a little bit here. Although we did keep a decent gap. Alright, now it's rain. It looks like it's going to stay rainy. We may even have to switch to wet tires here close to the end. We do have excess fuel in Santa Ana. We can burn that if we need to keep our position, because right now we're in sponsorship. She's also going to have fresher tires than the cars behind her because they switched out their tires earlier. I don't know if that's going to really necessarily matter for this race. We'll see. We are going to need to start pushing with these tires, in my opinion, because of the temperatures. I'm going to go a little bit into high gear here. Try and get this guy off my butt. But I don't think it's going to make a difference as he flies past me, and we're going to lose another position here. Yep. Again, even in high gear, I don't think that's going to necessarily matter. We'll save it for when it does. Alright, yeah, it's going to get quite wet here. I think I'm going to keep both my cars, though, out. We're in 17th and 18th right now. Dior's getting lapped as he tends to. We do have some pitting up ahead. I want to see what's going on with this. Are people switching to wet tires? I'm not going to have a whole lot of time to see this. No, they're keeping on intermediate, so we're not at any disadvantage here. And there we go, getting our opportunity to pass. Now we have to get a gap going. Now we have 3 laps to go, but we have plenty of fuel. So I'm going to go ahead and burn here. As a matter of fact, I'm going to burn with both cars and see what we can do. Now, the water on the track might be enough that we're going to start slowing down here and not really be able to take too much advantage of that. I'm curious to see if any of these cars up here will switch to wet tires close to the end, because it is quite wet. I think this is beyond what intermediates can really handle. No pitting so far. I have a feeling the AI is going to try and just stay out on the tires that they have. And it looks like we're going to get our sponsorship here, as I have quite a gap, and both of these cars have to actually pass me to beat me, and we're on the last lap here. As a matter of fact, I have so much excess fuel that I could go into overtake mode with both my cars. Maybe. I do have to go around one more time, so a little bit cautious maybe. Dior will be fine because he's going to finish with the number 1 car. Just go back to high gear here so we don't burn too much fuel and run out. Okay, so the car in 17th already made it across. Alright, looks like we actually had a chance to finish in 14th, and we did. Wow. Alright, that's good. 14th and 18th. Not too bad for our team. It's not going to make much of a difference as far as points go, but hey, it's something. Alright. Let's see where we ended up. Now, we're not going to have any rule breaking here, but other cars might. So we have 2 demotions. It was pretty far up, though, so that's not going to affect me there. And a demotion here, which put, I'm assuming, Dior into 17th, because I believe he was in 18th. So that's good to see. So we did gain 1 more position there. Wow, the guy that finished in 16th also had the fastest lap. It's not often that you see that kind of thing. All right. Driver standings, we don't really improve that much, although Santana's not that far away from passing Luigi here. But as far as our team goes, we're going to finish dead last. Okay. Well, just for, bragging rights, we may have a chance here with Santana if she does decently in the next race to pass that Luigi guy. And I'd like to see that happen, but I don't know if we'd be able to pull it off or not. We'll see. Okay, well, we're going to have some improvements going on here, morale changes. Pretty close to upgrading a point here, looks like. And nothing really changing here. And we get over 1 million. And that puts us in the green, so we're no longer... in debt. Okay, let's go through the emails here. So, interview. I'm just not going to take interviews anymore because they seem to be the same set of stock things. Yeah. Yeah, well, you're not going to be driving with the team very much longer. As a matter of fact, you only drove maybe a little bit of the first season. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the car repaired. And read that message. And then again, as far as improving parts, we're mostly just working on reliability here of some parts, and then that's going to be pretty much it. And go from there, and let's continue. We're going to have a stop here. I'll go until the reliability work is done. Okay. Then we'll just switch it to other parts. Okay. And we'll improve this. And that's pretty much it. For parts oh, actually, no, we have this too. Go full on reliability. We won't get it done before the race, but we'll get it high enough. And continue. We might as well just go straight on to the race. Now, I haven't taken a look at the race yet. What do we got going on here? Okay, we caught trying to sneak information out of the garage. He might have been going to leak it some of the other teams. What should we do? Who is that? That's one of our mechanics. All right, so let's take a look at the message to see what we have. A fine should suffice. We lose some of that or leave it. I mean, he's really not that great of a mechanic, so firing him wouldn't probably be that big of a deal, but the one thing we have to consider here, if we look at our staff here, we would have a loss of some money here, $75,000 if we fired him now. And I really don't want to have to pay that, so I'm going to do the fine option. We lose a little bit of chairman happiness and mechanic relationship, but I'm not really too worried about that. We're not really in threat for our job, so we'll get some money out of this. And there we go. That's kind of a weird event. That's the first time I've seen it. All right, well, in any case, taking a look at the race, it looks like it's going to be raining on race day, and this isn't necessarily a top speed-oriented track, so maybe Santana will be able to get up one position in the driver standings. Maybe we'll be able to pass Luigi here. I doubt we'll have any chance against Rogers, but maybe against Luigi. But in any case, I think this is a good point to go ahead and put a cut in the video. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. This is Mouse Gunner, signing out.